from South Bend.
All right, Rich, thanks very much. And if you're just joining us on ESPN, welcome to the ACC opener between Duke and Notre Dame. Blue Devils off to a hot shooting start as they've got the early 5-point lead. Bob Wischusen and Dick Vitale. 2020, Dick, there are no fans, but we're still getting to watch Prentice Hub knock down a triple from the left wing, and he has been a revelation so far this year for Mike Bray, averaging over 21 points a game.
Yeah, he's the key for them. There's no doubt about it. He's got to make shots and score for them, and he does it well. He's more a lead guard, Bob, than he's a pure point guard.
Goldwire, yes.
That's what they need. They need guys like Goldwire, veteran players, to step up. The one guy they got to get going is Wendell Moore. He has struggled this year, and they need him to get back to being and giving him productive minutes like he did last year.
He's the McDonald's All-American that decided not to try the NBA with the 3 guys from last year's recruiting class that left. And Wendell Moore is part of that group that's at the scorer's table, set to check in next time out. Cutting to the basket was Jaron Durham, but the pass from Prentice Hub knocked away. And here comes Duke looking to build on an early 5-point lead.
Key for Duke, we talked about it earlier, you and I, Matthew Hurt. They got to get him shots.
Hurt along the baseline, gave one up. Patrick Tapé, the grad transfer from Columbia, back to Hurt, and he knocks it down in the mid-range.
Tell you, that's that mid-range. He can score at all 3 levels. Round the basket, mid-range, and the 3-point shot. He's a versatile scorer.
Going to the basket, and Tapé is forced to give the foul on Jawan Durham, and he will shoot free throws when we come back. Early 7-point lead for Duke. Matthew Hurt, deadly in the mid-range. And ESPN's exclusive presentation of Duke always has to reload their roster when you lose talent like this on a yearly basis. The freshman of the year, Vernon Carey, the player of the year in the ACC, Trey Jones, tossed in Cassius Stanley. Key returnees, though, Matthew Hurt has been a revelation so far, averaging about 19 per game. And they had, according to our recruiting gurus at ESPN, the number 2 recruiting class coming in college basketball this year. But Dick Vitale, they are without Jalen Johnson. He is not on this trip. A foot injury. He's in a boot. He's out a minimum of 2, maybe 3 weeks. They are going to do, after that period of time goes by, another MRI to see if he can come back. He may be out even longer. He's kind of the prize jewel of this recruiting class. So how does that impact the rest of this young group, not having Jalen Johnson there?
Well, it just puts a lot of pressure, I think, on the veteran players to really step up. Guys, we mentioned Wendell Moore's got to step up and help a guy like Matthew Hurt, who's been brilliant. I mean, they need guys like Goldwire and people like that to contribute so they get more balance. The young guards, the freshmen, you're talking about Roach and Stewart. I mean, Roach is super quick. Stewart takes the second most shots on the team, and he's a key player as well.
And Mark Williams, a McDonald's All-American in the pivot, can help as a big man up front. Wendell Moore is in the game for the first time. Preseason second-team All-ACC, but off to a sluggish start, only averaging about 5 points a game.
Well, every player you talk about, you say, he's a McDonald's All-American. There are not too many Wendy's All-Americans out there. They get McDonald's, baby, year in and year out.
Yeah, they're not fun size either. It's the full super size it. There is the smooth left-handed stroke of Jamin Brakefield. Another freshman and another good one.
He's a big power guy, left-handed. Can give him some point production. You know, everybody talks about their 2 losses. They lost to 2 really quality teams. We're talking about 2 legitimate, top 10, top 15 teams. You look at Illinois and Michigan State. I say Illinois. Last night was a scary performance. Scary by Kofi. I don't know if you saw it, Coburn. He went for 33 and 13 in 15 minutes. It was unbelievable against 6-0 Minnesota. It wasn't Cupcake City.
And a scary performance. I know you tweeted about it during the game over the weekend. Notre Dame opening up a titanic advantage against Kentucky. You called it embarrassing on behalf of Kentucky. Now, Notre Dame only held on for a 1-point win, but it was eye-opening to see them open up that big of an advantage at halftime against the Cats.
I wish you would have seen me. I turned it off. They're up 24. I said, are you serious? I go, turn it back on. I swear to you. I said, let me see what the final is. 7 seconds left in the game. Calipari in a timeout got the ball down to 1. If they lost that game, I mean, Mike was telling me on the phone, Mike Bray, I said, what was going through your mind? Dick, devastating loss. I would have headed to one of the horse farms out there in Kentucky, sat there and had a little drink and relaxed with all the superstar horses. I mean, that would have been an unbelievable loss. But they did win. They survived and they won. It was a big win.
This is Trey Wirtz with the basketball as well as Mike Bray. Not only won that game against Kentucky, but gets a little help from the NCAA allowing now transfers immediate eligibility. The Santa Clara transfer was declared eligible for tonight's game about 2.5 hours before the tip as Dane Goodwin knocks that one out of bounds.
He's going to really help them. There's no question about it. Take here a look at the youngsters inside. There's Mr. Williams around. If they get that little jump hook, he likes to go over the left shoulder, and they can step outside as well, the young guys. As Mr. Brakefield said, Jamin says, I could shoot that J, baby. Nothing but nylon. A big, big three.
In South Bend tonight, it's the ACC opener for Duke and Notre Dame. Bob Wischusen and Dick Vitale. Glad you can be a part of the second half of our college basketball doubleheader after a thriller between Oklahoma State and TCU to begin tonight. Here's Jordan Goldwire. 9 on the shot clock for Duke. DJ Stewart with the reverse. Rolls off. Offensive rebound and a stick back is there for Brakefield.
Brakefield really working hard on the glass there. Did a tremendous job shooting the three as well. That's a big plus for them early in this game because Notre Dame's usually so efficient in the first half, and you're down 9.
Good shooting start as well for Duke. 8 of 16 from the field. Rebound pulled down by Joey Baker.
He's got to start making shots, Baker. He's really struggling shooting. Came with a big reputation as a good shooter.
Hurd fades away. That's short. And the rebound ends up with Nikola Jogo. Hub sets up Goodwin. Yes.
Goodwin's solid player, Bob. You got to like him. He's just a coach's player. Dad coached him a little bit when he's a young kid. Dad now the head coach in Capitol. As I said earlier, played for Dayton, played for a great coach, Don Donaher, down there. Was a solid all-around player.
Goodwin's first basket. He averages about 13 a game. Joey Baker picked up his dribble. Shot clock down to 7. Goldwire tries to break down Jogo. He picks up his dribble as well, but finds a cutter in DJ Stewart.
Great play right there by Stewart, cutting without the basketball. And Goldwire made him drop that bounce pass perfectly. Well executed. Good efficiency right there in a half-court game by Duke.
A turnover, and back the other way comes Baker. He'll go to the bucket with the left hand, lays it in, and Duke extends their lead to 10.
You know, Bob, they're getting help now from a lot of guys. People are all chipping in, whether it be Goldwire with the pass, whether it be Stewart with the cut, Brakefield with the three. I mean, just everybody contributing now.
7 different players have already scored at least one basket for Duke, and they're 10 for 19 from the field. And they get another takeaway from Goldwire. Number 2 so far this year in the ACC in steals, averaging almost 3 a game.
Well, he's a tough defensive player. He comes after very strong. Plays really hard on the defensive end.
Brakefield's drive rolls off the rim. But another sloppy play on the crossover. Almost losing it was Trey Wirtz. And now an offensive foul is called. That one drawn by Baker.
Not the start that they wanted when you talk about Notre Dame, that's for sure. And there's the charge.
Mike Bray was a 3-time Big East Coach of the Year back in the Big East days for Notre Dame. Of course, in 2011 and 2012 was the AP and Jim Phelan National Coach of the Year in those respective seasons. And it's been a tough few years for Notre Dame. Last year, Dick, right at the end of the regular season, they won a game in the tournament in the ACC before COVID canceled the season. It seemed like Mike Brey felt like he finally had a Notre Dame team that was right on the bubble, was going to be back in the NCAA tournament, and maybe was starting to play good basketball leading into the ACC tournament, and may have made a March run. But then, of course, we know what happened. Coronavirus stopped all of college basketball before we got to the big dance.
I'll tell you one thing, Bob. They were 10-10 regular season, beat Boston College, had 11 wins, was scheduled to play Virginia. They would have had to beat Virginia to at least get in the conversation because they were heading to the NIT. And they haven't been in a big tournament in 3 years and really have had a difficult time. Haven't beaten a ranked team in quite a while.
Well, if they can ride Prentice Hub and the start that he's off to this season, this might be a different kind of year for Notre Dame.
Well, they're counting on it. They're a very experienced basketball team. Took their lumps 2 years ago. Last year had some good moments. And this year they're expected to do really well.
Mark Williams elevates over Jawan Durham.
Can't let him get the ball in that deep. I don't care who you are. You're going to let a 7-footer get the ball in that deep. Your defense has got to push him away from the basket.
Cormac Ryan's pass intended for Durham was deflected. Goldwire comes the other way. Hesitation dribble, and that's blocked by Leshevsky. A little over 7.5 to go in the opening half, and it's a 10-point Blue Devil lead. Well, this year, the college football playoff doubleheader will be on New Year's Day, the Rose Bowl and the Sugar Bowl. Will Notre Dame be there? Well, we got a few of the football players in attendance tonight watching the basketball team play as they will take on Clemson. 4 o'clock Saturday afternoon. And that will be the ACC championship game. Dick Vitale on our air. A rematch between arguably the best game in the regular season for college football. It was an overtime thriller when DJ Uiagalelei was in there in place of Trevor Lawrence and almost pulled off the road win at South Bend. What are you thinking about Saturday afternoon?
Well, Saturday afternoon, all I know is right now, about 5 minutes from my house, there's a little Notre Dame party going on in a bubble with my granddaughter, who's a freshman at Notre Dame. She invited some friends to come on over to enjoy the sunshine of Florida. I want to say hello to Leon, and certainly I want to say hello to Megan Coleman, Julia Andreech, Tim. I mean, these people are out there, Logan Wilson, and they're cheering, but they're sad right now. The Irish are down 6. But the timeout right here, baby.
Well, they're a little happier now.
Yeah.
Doug.
And if we win, we get to tell you how Liberty Mutual customizes car insurance. So you only pay for what you need.
Isn't that what you just did?
Service!
Stand back, I'm gonna show ya how Doug and Lima roll ya. You know you gotta live it if you wanna win.
Time out.
Only pay for what you need.
Liberty, 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 liberty.
Bob Wischusen, Dick Vitale, 6-point game. Duke's got the lead. Mike Krzyzewski with the timeout after the Nate Leshevsky bucket. And this drive seemed to be something that upset Coach K a bit here. Dick, as the seas parted, no help rolled over, and it became an easy layup for Leshevsky.
Yeah, Leshevsky gets the easy layup, but prior to that, Goodwin got one. Slow rotating over, no rotation defensively. Getting back to you, asked me about that football game.
Yes.
And let me tell you this. I know Trevor Lawrence is going to play, but you know what the kid did? Your guy, Angalalale, he went for 439 yards, and ready for this? Lawrence doesn't play defense. They gave up 47 points. Would have been 54, but Ian Book fumbled like on a 1 foot line. I'm telling you, this Irish team is for real. Can they hear me in Clemson? I don't think you can hear me down there, so I'm going to tell you, Bob, just you and me. Notre Dame, 34-30 over Clemson for the ACC title, baby.
All right, that is a bold prediction. I couldn't quite hear you over that. What is it, a Clemson 11-point spread in their favor? I couldn't hear you over that.
Not going to happen. Ian Book is so underrated, so underrated. We're going to get back to basketball.
Well, Prentice had to hoist that one just as the shot clock was winding down.
Yeah, good defense right there to Duke. Duke's had a real nice first half thus far. Patient on offense, taking good shots, multiple guys contributing. He's so skilled. He likes the jabs.
Sends it back up top. Roach knocks down the fourth made three here in the first half for Duke.
Tell you, Roach and Stewart are going to be a nice combination. They're just getting a feel of what college is about. And they ran into two buzzsaw games, losing to Michigan State and to Illinois.
Hub does it again.
He can score. He is not a point guard. He is a scoring guard. They need a pure point guard to run their offense, a facilitator.
And now a turnover by Goldwire. Gave it away to Dane Goodwin. Here comes Hub. He's got 7. He leads all scorers. Trying to break down DJ Stewart and draws the foul.
See what I'm talking? He's thinking scoring, Bob. All the time he's basically thinking score, which is good, but you like to get other people involved as well.
Prentice Hub only averaged about 12 points per game last season, but this year tied first in the ACC in scoring early on and averaging nearly 4 made threes per game in the top 15 in America. And he's got the first, and we've got a top 15 Big 12 college basketball matchup for you tomorrow. First meeting of the year between Kansas and Texas Tech right here on ESPN and on the ESPN app as well. The Jayhawks 2-1 against the Red Raiders in their last 3, but have dominated the rivalry over the last 10 years, going 20-2. But Chris Beard, Dick, has made that much more of a rivalry game with what he's done in Lubbock over the last few years as well.
No doubt about it. He's done a brilliant job, and they got a really deep basketball team. That's going to be a heck of a game. The Big 12 is so tough. West Virginia is really outstanding. I mean, that conference is really tough.
Hurt with the fadeaway.
He can score so many different ways. I love when he catches the ball. He's multi-skilled. You watch when he catches the ball. He has a great feel where he is on the court, and he knows how to utilize the jab step really well when he gets a triple threat position.
Goodwin, a deep 3. That's well short.
Shot that from Chicago, baby. Duke's been able to get good shots, quality shots, taking their time. A lot of times you see young players rush the action.
Wendell Moore's drive won't go, and the back tap ends up with Prentice Hub. Mid-range jumper is pure for Dane Goodwin.
Boy, I like him. I really like his game. He's aggressive, plays within the framework of the team, he defends. He's sitting in the zone right now. Got to go in those gaps and seams. Right by the ACC. Got a big gap right up there by that foul line area.
Jeremy Roach. The floater high off the window is good.
He's got super quickness. His first step is excellent.
Prentice Hub draws the foul. The 2 stars playing like it. Prentice Hub leads Notre Dame with 9. And Dick, as you would expect, Matthew Hurt, he leads Duke with 8.
There's Matthew working. There he is. A little magic. And gets the ball to roll. Nice touch.
And Purdue plus Cade Cunningham a chance to win it at the buzzer. Fonz, how's Duke getting its points?
Matt Hurt is doing a great job of recognizing who's guarding him, Seth. He's been able to turn around, knock it over the top, or take you off the dribble and pull up J's have been really good.
Tremendous balance for the Duke offense. Notre Dame, you got to take better care of the basketball. You can't let Duke play ahead of you by giving the ball away. What do you think, Coach Vitale? Take care of the ball.
Seth Greenberg, Dick, wanting to know how important it is to take care of the basketball if you're Notre Dame.
It's very important. That's one of the most important things in the game. If you don't get good shots and you don't keep the ball, you're in trouble big time. Let me say this, young teams have struggled. As Notre Dame, Durham around the basket. I see a little run coming here from the half, a little run, Bob, by Notre Dame. This is too experienced, and they got a lot of veterans and Mike Bray. By the way, Mike Krzyzewski told me yesterday, he called him Mr. Final Four. 8 years he sat on the bench at Duke, and then went to 6 Final Fours, won 2 national titles in 91, 92. Mike said to me, he's Mr. Final Four.
It's pretty accurate.
Yeah. not bad. 8 times you're down there, 6 times you're standing at the Final Four. Wow.
So Jawan Durham completes the three-point play, and that cuts the lead down to 6.
Going a little half-court trap. Rotate back into the zone out of the trap. A little token pressure. 8 different players have scored for Duke, which is big, obviously. They 50% of their threes.
Notre Dame, making 7 of their last 9, has cut what was once an 11-point Duke lead down to 6. But it extends once again on the Roach triple.
I'm going to tell you what, they did a great job attacking that zone here. Ball movement, got the open shot in the wing.
Hurd up in the air for the rebound.
You know, you're really caught in between. With a kid like Hub, you don't want to stop him from looking for his shot and scoring. When you're the point guard as the facilitator, you want to get other people involved. He basically is thinking, you know, that's his game. Score, score.
Goldwire cruises to the rim.
Goldwire went right by him right there. A little timeout by Mike Bray. He's got to be upset right there, down 11.
So just after Notre Dame had cut the lead down to 5, Duke extends it right back up to double digits.
Look at the ball movement. Great ball movement, swinging from side to side. A big 3 wide open right there by Roach. And look, Goldwire, just right to the basket. Where's the defense? That's Matador defense. Are you kidding me? Man, you got to play better defense than that. Strong half thus far by Mike Krzyzewski and Duke. Hey, Mike, let me share this with you, Bob. The reason young teams, I believe, are struggling early this year, like Kentucky and like Duke, you have reduced practice time. COVID-19 did that. You got situations where, you know, games, you're not playing as many games with the cupcakes where you're getting yourself a little familiar, understanding one another a little bit more. Those games are all gone. And all that stuff really plays into, I really think, into a problem for young people. People have to wait before they jump the gun and say, oh, what about Kentucky? What about Duke? All those great recruits. Got to be a little patient. I mean, Kentucky's got a tough. They got Carolina now coming up, and then they got a tough one after that, too.
Yeah, I talked to Mike Krzyzewski about the same thing as you did yesterday, and he said it's not meant to be an excuse. It's just the reality of the situation. When you lose the entire summer, the team building is Goodwin knocks down a 3. Your opportunity to develop chemistry, practice together, play exhibition games, go through strength and conditioning. He thought it was a major advantage this year to the more experienced teams that had played a lot of basketball together, as opposed to some of the teams that are known as the one-and-done type teams, Dick, but that you know are going to bring in incredibly talented freshman classes. But these freshman classes have to go through some growing pains together, maybe in their conference schedule that normally they would go through together over the summer.
Well, you look at the top 3 classes with Kentucky, Duke, and North Carolina. Very good players, but not certainly the generation kind of players like Anthony Davis. Oh, what a half he's having. Goodwin. 2 threes
Goodwin's
in a row.
up to 13. He's got 3 triples, and the lead's down to 5.
And he had 2 in a row. But you think of Anthony Davis, you think of Zion Williamson, they come along once in a lifetime. These are very good players, but you got to surround them with some veteran players as well. Look at the clubs on top, Gonzaga, Baylor. They got those veteran players, and then they put a kid like Suggs there with them, Kispert and company, and that's why they're so good.
Terrific left-handed finish on the drive by Jeremy Roach, and he adds to a terrific half. He's in double figures.
He's so quick, Roach, really quick player. At 13 against Illinois.
About a 4-second differential. So Goldwire will slow it up with Duke on top by 7.
Mike Krzyzewski's got to be very pleased with the first half performance. Their efficiency, they were so effective. They got good shots, moved the ball. As you said earlier, playing without Johnson, who's their most talented freshman. He'll be out for about 3 weeks, they think.
Cormac Ryan, with Notre Dame having fouls to give, gives one with 11.3 to go. Notre Dame, by the way, averages less than 14 fouls per game, second best in the ACC, and they've only committed 3 here in the first half. Duke with only 14 fouls. And now giving another is Ryan.
You know, Ryan is a kid that they're expecting some big things. Transfer from out of Stanford. Played really well last year, sitting out. Had a strong half. when he played against Ohio State at 15 in the first half, and then was quiet in the second half. I really believe we see the trend now, Bob, going to that fifth-year player, going to the veteran player, the transfer player, because really,
Goldwire's trying to beat the buzzer and can't do it from 3. So Duke shoots 56% from the field in the first half, and 5 of 9 from 3 as well, led by Matthew Hurt. And the Blue Devils have a 7-point lead at the break. Time for Kevin Coppers, Seth Greenberg, and the Fonz. It's the Jeep Halftime Report. ESPN at the Joyce, just about set for the start of the second half between Notre Dame and Duke. Duke has the 7-point lead as we take a look at our first half stats, brought to you by Ally Bank. And really red-hot shooting for both teams. 50% for the Irish, 55% for Duke. And Duke 5 of 10, dead on 50% from the first half three-point line as well. And Dick, we have seen excellent first half performances by some sharpshooters, as it was Dane Goodwin who got hot early for Notre Dame.
yeah, Goodwin did a great job. 13 points, knocked down 3 big threes. Solid all-around player, understands how to play. On the other side, the freshman Roach has been terrific. He went 4 for 4 in the first half. I thought Hurt did a good job inside as well, but Roach certainly has stepped up for Duke. Really an excellent first half for them. They really played well, effectively. Notre Dame's defense broke down. I think the first 4 minutes are big here. By the way, you see the Golden Dome, how shiny it was? Where do you see it Saturday night? Oh, Saturday about 7:30. It'll be really shining, baby.
I'm so surprised that that's your opinion, as neutral as you normally are about Notre Dame.
You're busting me right now, but you know what? You have a right to. I'm biased. We got 7 degrees at Notre Dame. Mike Bray knows that. He gave me an honorary alum degree as well. So if you count me, we got 8. And when I got the honorary alum degree, you know what happened? My daughters, Terry and Sherry, said, Dad, you just brought down the value of our degrees.
And look at this. The clocks don't even work at Notre Dame. You would think with all the money that the Vitale family alone has spent in South Bend, they would get clocks that would work. But maybe that's your next donation, right? Buy new clocks. And while we have a clock issue, just because Dick Vitale's on the game, why not put a picture of the Golden Dome back up and talk about the ACC Championship on ABC Saturday at 4 Eastern between Clemson and the Fighting Irish.
I'm going to tell you one thing. Kirk Herbstreit's been very, very solid about Notre Dame and how good they are, and they really are good this year. I know I'm a little biased. I'm on my granddaughter's out there. She's smiling right now. They're in a bubble. They got a bubble at her house 5 minutes from my house with all her friends. And, man, they're having a blast, except they're a little sad right now that they're down 7. Her friends Megan and Julia and Tim and Logan and Leon. And that's the football players. Some of the football. Is he a book there? I can't tell. His book. He is so underrated, Bob. So underrated.
Well, Notre Dame scored 47 points in that game against Clemson. But let me play devil's advocate for a second, because they scored 2 touchdowns in overtime, because the game obviously went to double overtime where you start with the short field. They also got a scoop and score on a bad exchange between the freshman quarterback Uiagalelei and Travis Etienne. So the Notre Dame offense scored 2 touchdowns in regulation in that game. They scored on their first possession. They scored on their last possession. They went all the possessions in between and never got in the end zone, and Trevor Lawrence didn't play. So I'm wondering if you start to look at it maybe through that lens a little bit, you realize why Clemson's a double-digit favorite.
Well, double-digit favorite. They've been mistakes before. Ian Book would have scored. He fumbled on a 1-foot line. You don't count that? Took away some. I don't care what they did. They put 47 on the board. Let's get back to basketball.
Because I made such a good argument now, we're going to go back to basketball.
Yeah, you did. You were solid. You were waiting for me with that. I knew that.
Here's Matthew Hurt. Shot clock down to 10. Jeremy Roach had a good first half, gives it up to Hurt, and Hurt shuffled his feet and turns it over.
Yeah, he had an easy layup right there, too. He didn't go up quick enough with it. If Notre Dame is going to win this game, they're going to have to do a better job defensively. Duke's getting too many good shots.
Hub floats a pass. That's the 8th Notre Dame turnover as he gives it right back to Roach.
Bad pass. Nice movement off that post. Spreading the court. Good spacing offensively.
DJ Stewart is fouled. They will call a block on Dane Goodwin.
Those two guards are going to be very good, that tandem. When you look at Roach and you look at Stewart, we look at Kentucky right now. They're searching for point guard play. They got a tough game coming with Carolina, and then I have them in their next game with Dan Schumann. We have them against Louisville. Louisville's a great story this year. They're playing without 3 starters, and Chris Mack's done an amazing job. When they get all their kids back, all I can say is watch out.
Fade away for Roach.
He looks really good, doesn't he, Bob? We're only thousands of miles away from each other. That's
He
the
looks
way
like
of life.
the average McDonald's All-American and Virginia Gatorade Player of the Year ought to look for Mike Krzyzewski.
They're not going to recruit you unless you're one of those guys.
Goldwire picks up the foul.
This guy's won a few games in his life. You know, there was some criticism about his statements after the game with Illinois about the fact about maybe pause the season. Let me tell you, that wasn't just after the game. He told me that a month ago. A month ago, he felt that way. There was just so much chaos.
Knocking down a 3 is DJ Stewart to add to the Duke lead. It's up to 12.
Wow, are you serious, man? Look at the jubilation. Those diaper dandies are shining. Oh, those diaper dandies are playing well.
Krzyzewski will drive it, and he'll go to the line to shoot the bonus.
He's really a good player. He goes inside, outside. Krzyzewski's got to get a little more aggressive offensively. There's Duke right now, going to get the good shot. They back away, wide open. He nails it. You know, these kids don't have the luxury either at Duke playing with the Cameron Crazies. You think that's an advantage? Think about that.
Yep, no doubt. Patrick Tape, by the way, picked up the foul. He's the first Duke player to pick up his second personal foul.
You know, same with all the elite schools, Bob. Kentucky, Kansas. You take away their crowds. You're taking away a real home court advantage. And the passion and emotion of those crowds means so much.
Prentice Hub, in and out for 3. I talked to Mike Krzyzewski about the same thing you talked to him about, and that is what his thoughts were as Goldwire finishes with the left hand about the possible pause of the season. And ultimately, he said he thought the most important thing in canceling those 3 non-conference games was to give his players an opportunity to be home briefly during the Christmas break and see their families. The kids on his team have not spent any time with their families since August. And on top of that, you know, normally their families get to come and see them play some games. There's no fans allowed as well. So he just thought it was the right thing for his team for them to be able to do that.
Yeah, you know, he's entitled to that. I mean, the guy's been around, he's around the block. Also, you mentioned Mike, the winningest coach ever in college basketball. Let's give a tribute and a salute out to Tara Vanderveer. She broke Pat Summitt's record last night at Stanford. It has been amazing. I think she's 1,069 wins right now. That's a lot of wins.
That was a lot of wins.
And Coach K is way up there.
Shot clock down to 8. Cormac Ryan launches a 3. And the rebound ends up with Mark Williams.
See, the one thing with Notre Dame, they're not going to get anything easy off trapping defenses and getting turnovers and layups and transition. They got to get it by executing and being efficient in scoring in a half-court game. If that doesn't happen, they could be in trouble.
They dare Williams to shoot from the elbow. He doesn't do it. And now the shot clock is down to 5. Goldwire picks up his dribble. Shot clock at 2. At 3. Off the mark from Roach. Back the other way comes Trey Wirtz.
Trey Wirtz got eligible today.
Goodwin. And they may score the basket. John Gaffney says yes. Goaltending plus the foul.
That was a good call right there. And Goodwin made a great move. He spotted the open area. It was an isolation, a little one-on-one maneuver right here.
So the foul on Roach, and Goodwin will have a chance for an old-fashioned three-point play as Williams gets tagged for goaltending, and it's been a good night for Dane Goodwin, up to 15 points.
Where would they be without Goodwin? I mean, think about it. He's been so productive here in his first half.
And their win over Detroit at his first career double-double, 15 points and 10 rebounds. He was a top 100 player in Ohio Mr. Basketball coming out of high school.
Try a little one-on-one right here with Hurt.
Hurt. Back outside to Joey Baker. Baker gives it up. Brakefield. Shot clock at 4. He picks up his dribble. Old school scoop won't go. Offensive rebound. And the putback is good for Hurt.
Hurt hanging around the basket, utilizing his size. Comes up with that deuce. Duke doing a good job defensively. Defensive transition. Notre Dame's gotten 0 out of the transition game.
Extra pass to Goodwin. He stays red hot with a 3 from the corner. And the lead down to 8.
He's keeping him in the game, Bob.
The only player in double digits for Notre Dame. Goodwin's got 19. Bob Wischusen, Dick Vitale back with our assist of the game, brought to you by State Farm. And Dick, good ball movement sets up the hot shooter.
Yeah, they really do reverse the ball, but you would think that right now, this stage of the game, that Duke would be aware where he is on the court and get out there on him and not allow him to shoot that shot, because he is keeping them in the game. You know, you think about Mike Bray, he's really struggled against ranked teams. I don't know what the number is, but they have had a long run where they have not beaten. As you look at the 19 points, 4 for 6 out of threes, out of Goodwin, they have had a long journey of not beating a ranked basketball team. And the last couple of years have struggled in the ACC in terms of winning. And this year is supposed to be a lot better year because they got all their veteran players, and people are expecting a chance to play in March Madness.
Too strong on the drive for Joey Baker. Yet Notre Dame is 0 for their last 23 against ranked teams. They haven't beaten a ranked opponent since Wichita State back in 2017.
Well, that's why it's important right here. You know, you're playing here in South Bend right now. You're catching Duke, losing 2 games without their star. You got to beat them.
Some Kings. The Golden One Center in Sacramento tomorrow, 9 Eastern, 6 Pacific on ESPN, ESPN Deportes, and the ESPN app. Well, someday Jalen Johnson will be playing in the league, but right now he's not even playing for Duke. And Dick, you mentioned it, alluded to it going to break. The crown jewel of the Duke recruiting class out with a foot injury. He's in a boot. At least 2 weeks, maybe 3. And Mike Krzyzewski said he would then go for another MRI to see how significant the injury is or how much healing has taken place. So they could be without Jalen Johnson for quite a while.
And you're talking about a very integral part in the team. 6'9", multi-skilled player, very active, very athletic. A nice pass to the post. Excellent pass to the post.
So Krzyzewski commits the foul. That's his second. And the team's second.
You know, Mike Bray's done a great job there over the years. You look at his total record. I mean, he's 538, 287 overall, 439 wins, the most ever at Notre Dame. You know, you look at Digger Phelps. Digger did a great job in 20 years at Notre Dame. I don't think people realize when you think about some of the teams he had were big-time teams. Hey,
well, Dick, yeah, you're always trying to raise money to fight pediatric cancer and to raise money for the V Foundation. Here's your latest effort.
Well, yeah, it's my book with Dick Weiss, and did a great job, and Howie Schwab did the research. Every dollar for my book, The Lost Season, all about last year, about the fact that we didn't have a tournament. We did the book, and every dollar from the book is going to the V Foundation. Just go to dickvitale.com, and you get an autographed copy, and you help the V Foundation. Most of all, it's for kids battling cancer, and it means a whole lot to me. Get an autographed copy.
How hard has it been in this COVID world that we're living in for you to keep these efforts going and raise the kind of money that you're normally used to generating?
Well, I'll tell you one thing, Bob. We had a virtual gala last year and raised $7.4 million. I can't wait for our gala this year. We're hoping that it's live. Muffin McGraw is going to be one of our honored guests. Big three right there. So I'd like the Golden Domers to come out to it, the Ritz-Carlton, Sarasota. And again, people can get more information. Just go to dickvitale.com. Scott Van Pelt's went up.
Cormac Ryan knocked down that three to make this a 7-point game. Hurt. Spin move off the front rim. The tap ends up with DJ Stewart. He pulled the string and came up short.
That was a nice move by Hurt. Just came up empty scoring. Work's getting some play-in time right now. Transfer him out of Santa Clara. Declared eligible today, as all players going for a waiver got one today.
Wendell Moore the other way off the Leshevsky miss.
They got to get Wendell playing.
They have gotten away with a walk. Foul called on the interior. Reach in on Trey Wirtz. It's his first.
You know, here he's getting a little familiar play, and this is first action of the year. The reason the NCAA, by the way, gave those waivers is because of the COVID pandemic. A lot of teams losing players out. They felt, let's give everybody a waiver. And I think that's going to happen for real in January, where kids are going to be allowed to transfer one time without sitting out. And what chaos that's. Don't get Tom Izzo going about that. Don't get Nick Saban going. You talk about last year with 1,000 transfers? There'll be a couple thousand transfers.
Shot clock down to 5. Hurt. Fades away. That's too strong. Wendell Moore mistimed the jump. And the rebound ended up with Dane Goodwin. Little hesitation. Dribble the other way for Prentice Hub. Durham hands one off. The scoop and an offensive foul called on Dane Goodwin.
Ooh, I don't know about that call right there. I don't know about that call. Mike's not happy with it either. Look at Goodwin. Looks at me. Are you serious? I thought he got bumped. I thought he got bumped on the cut, on the drive to the goal. It's one of those calls you can battle back and forth on.
That's Goodwin's second. These are two teams that don't foul much. So we don't have a player for either team to this point in the game that even has 3 personal fouls. So really no foul trouble for either coach to worry about with 12 minutes to go.
Well, here's Notre Dame going to try to increase, get a little pressure on the ball. I don't know if they have that quickness. The one thing about Duke, they're very athletic.
Pardon me, that was the third on Goodwin. So he's the first player in the game with 3 fouls as Wendell Moore comes up short. Cormac Ryan is fouled. A reach in on Brakefield on the handoff. We'll step aside for a moment. Well, when the Black Lives Matter movement and certainly everything was happening over the summer, Mike Krzyzewski took advantage, Dick, of the fact that he's been at one school for 40 years, which means he has players that he is still close with from the 80s, from the 90s, from the 2000s. And he was actually able to organize Zoom calls with hundreds of players, literally triple-digit number of Duke players at one time on a call, so that his current players could hear from not only their peers, but also former players that have sons their age. And they could talk about what it's like to be black in North Carolina, in Durham, at Duke. And he felt like those types of discussions were great ones to have for the young guys that he's got in his program right now.
Well, you know, social justice is needed. There's no question about it. Equality. We're supposed to all be equal. Bottom line is we saw some injustices that were unbelievable before our own eyes. I learned one little philosophy at home as we watch a block shot. My parents were uneducated, Bob. I've told you this story time and time again. But they had a doctrine of love. And I'll tell you this, my mom and dad taught me as a youngster, she knows to say, never dick Richie. Richie, treat people with respect and people that treat you with respect. Treat people how you want to be treated. And that's what we need more in our nation. People that treat one another with love instead of all this hate that's out there. Put an arm around each other. We need that badly. Our nation's too good to have all those differences.
Well, that is something that Mike Bray's going to love to see, and that's Prentice Hub. If he can get hot in the last 10 minutes of this game, as Notre Dame has drawn within 5.
Well, he's a scorer. He is absolutely a scorer. Flat-out scorer, very important to this team. They got to defend right now as Duke's been getting too many quality shots. He likes to turn and face you. He's right now to double him up.
Goldwire floats one. Good.
I mean, Goldwire's played very solid basketball, not only defensively, but he's made some good shots. And Brakefield hit a big three a little bit earlier as well, the left-hander off the bench.
Goldwire's got 9. And very balanced scoring for Duke in this game. Durham off the window, no good. And it ends up with Brakefield.
They can't seem to get over the hump. They get it to 5 or 6, and then Duke then expands it.
Brakefield on the drive, explodes past Jawan Durham.
I'm going to tell you,
has helped out.
You know, Bob, Brakefield's got a lot of publicity, but he's been impressive. He comes in, he's not afraid to shoot, he's not afraid to attack, and he gives some production.
He's got 10.
That type of dandy's going to get some PR.
Cormac Ryan floating left, comes up short. Trying to hustle for his own miss. It's a held ball, and the arrow will give it to Notre Dame.
Take a look right now. Look at the balance here. Pulls up, squares his body really well. Great release, good rotation. And then we watch right here the drive to the goal. Just beats him on a one-on-one. Little emotion. Got a little passion, a little emotion. If there's one thing I miss, Bob, you know me before a game, being in the crowd with all the fans. I just went in my office at halftime, and I got a big picture up there with me with all the Cameron crazies. I miss that. I wonder if I'll ever get that feeling again.
You will get that feeling again. Yes, we will get you in the student section again. It's going to happen. And we miss those student sections, there's no question. Think about what the student sections would be like for a top 15 Big 12 college basketball matchup tomorrow. Kansas in Lubbock to take on Texas Tech on ESPN and the ESPN app. The Jayhawks 2-1 against the Red Raiders in their last 3. And, you know, that building in Lubbock can rock, especially when Texas Tech takes on Kansas. And that'll be a fun one to watch tomorrow night at 7 Eastern.
That was one of the last games we did. Last year we were down there in Texas Tech, and then we went over to Gonzaga. We did Gonzaga's game against in the championship in that WCC, and that was the end of basketball.
Yep, I got to Kansas City, was all set to call the Big 12 championship, and with Texas Tech and Texas on the floor warming up, they called off the tournament, and it spread like wildfire around college basketball. Conference tournament after conference tournament. Made the right decision as Brakefield. Too strong.
Yeah, the NCAA, no doubt, made the right decision. I was just getting ready to go to the airport, and my phone right before I got going at the SEC, when I was going to do the semifinals, was called off.
Prentice Hub turns it over. And now Brakefield wants DJ Stewart to slow it down.
These young kids are going to get better and better. There's no doubt about it. I think Kentucky, the same situation. Unfortunately, they got some tough games with Carolina and Louisville coming up.
Stewart, a step-back triple, and it's a double-digit lead again.
I mean, we're watching here. Stewart, Roach, Brakefield, Williams a little bit in the post. We don't even have Jalen Johnson. I mean, these are all young kids out of high school. And they didn't have those games. You know, he got canceled those games with those teams that looked like they would have been wins. He did it for the benefit of the kids to go home. But those games would give you familiarity and get a little confidence, because winning breeds winning, and losing breeds losing.
Every time Notre Dame has made a little run to get the lead down to 7, down to 6, down to 5, Duke has countered, and 12 equals their largest lead.
All because they get good shots. They haven't taken bad shots. Are you kidding me?
Matthew Hurt with a fadeaway extends to Duke's largest lead.
You can see why he was a big-time scorer in high school down in Minnesota. They didn't play against great competition, but he was so efficient. You can see his skills, and he put weight on. He's a lot stronger.
Speaking of skills, Dick, how about DJ Stewart with the crossover?
Yeah, great crossover. Nothing but nylon, baby. NBN.
14-point lead for Duke over Notre Dame. Bob Wischusen, along with Dick Vitale, bringing you the ACC opener between these two teams. And Dick, let's raise some more money for cancer research.
Well, yeah, we got a beautiful red Mercedes, and there's only a couple of chances. In fact, I guarantee we'll be sold out as soon as I mention here. We sold out one red one, and now we're like I think there might be like 10, 20 chances left. $100 a chance, brand new red Mercedes, help children battling cancer, which is my #1 goal. We raised $7.4 million in a virtual gala this year, Bob.
Can we talk about my ticket and which corner you have to bend on which receipt? You know what I mean? Can we figure that out, being buddies?
I'll tell you one thing. Notre Dame better figure something out. They're down 14, and that losing streak against ranked teams is going to continue. You said 23.
This is the largest lead. That's a nice backdoor cut, though, for Dane Goodwin, and he adds to a terrific game as he has carried Notre Dame offensively. He's got 21.
He's a terrific player. They can't make anything happen off their defense. You don't see any forced turnovers and going the other way for layups. Duke has played way better than I anticipated. I'll be honest with you, Bob. Way better.
Nice backdoor cut. DJ Stewart gets the layup.
Look at the execution there. Great team play, sharing the ball. I guess that's why you win 1,159 games. Plus, you added all the great recruits over the years, the Laytons, the Hurleys, and you go on, the Battiers. I mean, it goes on and on. Grant Hills, Jay Billis. You got all those great ones that played there. Hey, Jay, did I say it the way you told me?
Dane Goodwin, he's got 23. But right now, Notre Dame can't trade baskets with Duke, and Duke's depth has showed up in this game. Their bench has outscored Notre Dame's bench 16-0.
Well, that's been a problem with Notre Dame. The bench guys have played a lot of minutes, but now he's got Wirtz to get some minutes. He's got certainly Nojo as well, Go as well.
Knocked out by Cormac Ryan with 6 to shoot.
Yeah, with Joe Go and also with Wirtz. Look at that cut without the ball. I like that out of him. He moves well without the ball, very quick. Came in with a big reputation out of high school, out of Chicago area. He and Roach are going to make a nice combination.
Hurd, 2 on the shot clock. Got it.
He'll score all day with that little shot. He's just a little fadeaway jump shot, great release. I mean, I'm telling you something. He is multi-skilled player. I think the extra weight, getting stronger, has really elevated his game.
Wirtz around Hurd.
Oh, Wirtz just beat him. He's going to be a good player for Notre Dame, Wirtz.
Santa Clara transfer. He averaged about 12 a game last year for Santa Clara and was declared eligible, as all transfers were by the NCAA, about 2 hours before tonight's game began.
Tell you one thing, his dad's a journalist, Langston.
Grab Taco Bell's Nachos Party Pack whenever you're dressing up to stay in or witnessing a miracle. Go big with delicious nachos topped with all your favorites. Nachos Party Pack, only at Taco Bell. Get yours with Taco Bell delivery.
Hurd connects again. He's got 18, and the lead holds at 14 for Duke.
He's got a smile on his face, too. I'd have a smile on my face as well. He made up for getting beat to the goal defensively. Oh, here's a steal.
Stewart, plus the foul. The Blue Devils are pulling away with 4.5 minutes to go.
Yeah, the Golden Domers are in trouble, baby. They're in trouble. Anticipation, stepped right in the passing lane, used the quickness, go to the goal, score. Oh, yeah, look at it, gets a little kiss, a hug. Oh, practice is going to be a lot better tomorrow than it was after the Illinois game.
$16 for DJ Stewart. His third game in double figures in the first 5 now for Duke.
I ask a question here, Bob, and I don't know the answer. What happens if a kid wants to transfer the second semester in, let's say, January wants to transfer? Is he eligible right away? Because if that happens...
I think, isn't that the decision that allowed Trey Wirtz to become eligible for tonight's game? Yes, if you transfer, you're eligible. That's the way I understood the ruling.
Wow, that will change some lineups quickly, man.
Leszewski with an offensive rebound. Another in-close miss, though, for Tony Sanders. And so it goes over to Duke with 4:10 remaining.
Well, I've been talking to Ryan Humphrey a lot, who does an outstanding job as one of Mike's assistants, along with Ron Blandis, Coach Martin. They got a really solid staff, and they really were so prepared for this game and ready like you couldn't believe, and that's why they got to be really disappointed. And I think surprised by the efficiency and the execution by Duke in a half-court game.
3 on the way for Hurt, won't go. And Sanders has the rebound.
No secret to winning. Don't turn the ball over. Get quality shots. Make sure the right people shoot.
Reach in on Goldwire. That takes us to the under 4 timeout. Duke in control. 73-56 Blue Devils. 18 points for Matthew. Tuesday over on ACC Network, the Irish and Syracuse at the Carrier Dome at 7 Eastern. They split last year's matchups by 3 total points, and this shapes up to be a good one. If you don't have the ACC Network, go to getaccn.com for instant access. Bob Wischusen, Dick Vitale, 3:41 to go, and it's a comfortable lead for Mike Krzyzewski's Blue Devils at Notre Dame.
He's got 1,159 wins, Coach K. Amazing what he's done. 3 gold medals, 5 national championships. I really believe, Bob, in my heart, I'm talking about an extended period of time. No one in coaching that's active today is better than Mike Krzyzewski. I really believe that. He's coached collegiately. He's coached the NBA stars. Those are my 5 top active coaches right now coaching in the game. Krzyzewski, Belichick, Saban, Popovich, and Sweeney. I got somebody else you put in there in the place? Let me know. I can't think of anyone. Those 5 have been so productive year after year after year.
That's a good list.
I'm waiting for you to battle with me on it because you always got your thinking cap on.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of who I would put on that list. Even I know you didn't go the baseball route. Tony La Russa's back in the mix as he is now coaching or managing, I should say, in Chicago. Maybe Joe Madden with what he's been able to do. But yeah, that group right there, they're talking about longevity and winning championships and dominating their sports. It'd be hard to come up with someone to crack that top 5 and be better than that group.
I love that 5, but Tony La Russa's a great guy. Plus, he eats linguine, he eats some marinara sauce.
Yeah, I knew if I came up with a paisan that might be someone that would be in your sweet spot.
But he's not seen the start yet. He's got to start winning games this year, hasn't coached. We'll revisit it next year.
Okay.
Well, what a performance here by Duke, really. I know Notre Dame's going to be so disappointed because this is a big game for them. The next 6 days, they got 3 games, count this one, Purdue and Syracuse. They played Kentucky, Ohio State. Their schedule's got to be in the top 3 in America, without a doubt. They're unbelievable strength of schedule. When you look at what they got coming up, it's amazing. I'm not even talking yet. They got Virginias and Florida States and Louisville's.
Even had Tennessee on there that got postponed or canceled. We'll see if that's a game that at some point they can make up as Trey Wirtz lays one in. But you're right, it is a gauntlet of a schedule early this season for Notre Dame. And a reminder, SportsCenter's coming up next. Stan and Neil are standing by. They'll have reaction from LeBron and AD's preseason debuts. Plus, why Notre Dame quarterback Ian Book is looking forward to silence after Saturday's ACC title game against Clemson. And staying with the Tigers and Irish, they'll preview what to look for in that massive game. Sports Center is next, right here on ESPN and the ESPN app.
I'll tell you one thing, Ian Book's been such a solid player throughout his career at Notre Dame. The kid comes to play every day, plays with great passion, feeling. And you talk about a guy that's done an amazing job, better than 10 years. When you look at certainly Brian Kelly at Notre Dame. There's a lot of pressure coaching down here. I mean, Lou Holtz, Ara Parseghian, those guys all said after 10 years, you're usually emotionally drained from having to live up to all the expectations of the Golden Dome.
Well, think about the expectations going into that game on the quarterback on the other team. I mean, who's expecting him to lose? Other than you.
Well, I'll tell you what, you may be calling some of his games next year.
That is a strong possibility.
Boy, I'll tell you one thing. The Jets got to really somehow find a way to turn that baby around. I don't know what is going on.
Well, the first pick in the draft, if it turns out to be that, would probably be a good place to start, especially considering who will most likely be coming out to be the first pick in the draft. That is an offensive foul called on DJ Stewart.
That's the first mistake he's made. Unless that young guy down at Clemson decides to go the route of maybe an Eli Manning or a Peyton Manning and says, I'm not going.
Yeah, that's really not a nice thing to say to me at all, but friends. Well, how about this freshman group tonight for Duke, the impact that they had without Jalen Johnson?
Yeah, really played well. They really did. You know, my heart wants you to have Mr. Lawrence so you can stand here and wake up on a Sunday and be excited to go to a game. But those kids have really done well. Those freshmen have risen to the occasion, as they say.
A really nice night for Dane Goodwin.
He's really so good.
25 points for Goodwin. Prentice Hubbs got 12. Those are the only two players for Notre Dame in double figures. For Duke, on the other hand, Dick, they've got this 13-point lead because of much more balanced scoring. 4 players in double figures, and Goldwire even has 9. That floater, part of his offensive night.
And then goes Stewart to the basket. Remind me of Jay Williams when he used to drive. Now, wait, I'm not saying he's Jay Williams because he was one of a kind player of the year. But I'm telling you, these freshmen have stepped up. You think about the greats that wore that uniform for Coach K. I didn't even mention guys like Elton Brand. And you think about all the supers over the years. It just blows my mind. It was so much fun going to do Duke games and see those great talents perform. Hey, Digger had some great ones. You talk about great players. When Digger was coaching, think about some of the guys that he coached. Think about some of the guys like John Shumate, Gary Brokaw, a guy named Trapuka. I mean, the list goes on and on. He had some great teams.
And how about some of the coaches that have come from Mike Krzyzewski's bench and gone on to greatness? How about Mike Bray? I'll just go back to the 87-88 season. And all the way through 91-92, there's Mike Bray along with Coach K. They were regularly in the Final Four back in those days.
Well, he called him, told me yesterday on the phone, Mike Bray's Mr. Final Four. So we went to 6 Final Fours in 8 years that he was here. You can't meet a nicer person than Mike Bray. And I'll say this for Coach K. People have no idea what he has done to raise money in battling cancer in the memory of our late buddy, Jimmy Valvano. His work ethic and his dedication and passion is special.
And the 8 years that Mike Bray was on Mike Krzyzewski's bench, 2 national championships and 6 Final Fours in 8 seasons.
You know, whenever you're on top of the ladder like he's been throughout his career, people can't wait to knock you down, man. They can't wait. They sit there, the first little thing, something goes wrong, it's Rip City, Rip City. Well, you know what? They can't take away 5 championships. They can't take away 3 gold medals. And they can't take away 1,059, no, 1,060 now W's.
That 3 goes for Trey Wirtz. But this will be a walk-up for Goldwire and a double-digit win for Duke as The Blue Devils start off the season with wins against Coppin State and Bellarmine. But, of course, Michigan State, Illinois, two teams that came into Cameron and won with no fans. But as you said, Dick, really good teams. This was a game where Mike Krzyzewski wanted a little litmus test for his group, going on the road in conference, and they get their first win.
And he did it.
In the ACC.
I'm not talking about the fact I can't take away 100 victories from him. I said 1,060. I meant 1,160. 1,160.
Right. For Dick Vitale, I'm Bob Wischusen. 10-point Duke win. Coming up next here on ESPN, it's Sports Center.